Good morning, students. In this session, we are going to learn about how to develop a Django model forms. That is, how to connect form and model so that we can insert the data into database using form with the help of model. So, how to connect the database from forms using Django models. So, I quickly open my Visual Studio Code. So before going to make my database name here in the settings.py file, I made my database name as mydb. So I open my PHP admin and I'm going to create the new database, make it as mydb. So here my database was created. Now in settings.py file, I named my database name as mydb. Now coming to the first file, that is forms.py file, here we are going to write import the forms, and I found that models import in the student model. So what in student model? In models.py, I have created a model name called student with the two fields, that is first name and last name. That is, the database consists of two fields. The table consists of two fields, that is first name and last name. Here I represented my table name as student. So in my database name, that is mydb, my table name is student. Now I am going to return the value, that is first name and last name, that I have forwarded using the form. Now in models.py file, this class is going to be called in forms.py file. So in forms.py file, I am going to import the student and I am going to make a class as employee form. And I am going to upload all the data with the help of meta class. And I am going to make my model as student, that is calling my model as student. So this is forms.py file and this is models.py file. Now coming to views.py file, here I am going to create a method called index, which I am going to call in urls.py file. So in urls.py file, I am going to make that method, that is views.index. Now here in index method, I am going to call that employee form and make my value as post. That is, here the request.method is equal to post, which represents the value I am going to insert into the database is done by using with the help of a method called post. Now I am going to print the method if the data was successful. So that will be clearly seen in console, and if the form is going to be valid, I am going to save the form and forward the data to studentform.html. In studentform.html, I am going to write csrf underscore token along with the form as underscore p, which represents the successful insertion of values into the database. And I am going to create a button called submit with a class and make the name as save. In urls.py file, I am going to make my path as index /. Now I am going to run from the terminal and I am going to exit the server and make python manage.py, use the option migrate. And here you can clearly see that the database was created, and now python manage.py run server, and I'm going to run the server and I'm going to click here. So here I'm going to insert the data. Yeah, here I'm going to make it as index /. So index /. And now I'm going to insert my first name as Ram and my last name as Pawan. And also I'm going to insert my second data also. So the second data is also inserted. Now we can open the PHP myadmin and clearly see whether the value is inserted or not. So my database name is mydb. In that, my table name is student, and you can clearly see that the two rows Ram and Pawan and KBN College was inserted. In this way, we can connect to database from models using forms. Thank you.